There can be only one podcast, and maybe the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt, and no one else is with me today. Got a little girl crying in the background. She's been crying all day because she's really tired and refuses to go to bed. So, what's going on? We're going to have to do an impromptu podcast. It kind of sucks because Wes, who's been helping me co-host for so long, he offered to come in and do another one, but I checked with Bruce 2 weeks ago. He said, no, I'm good, man. We're ready to go. And then, of course, unbeknownst to anyone, his water pipe burst or something crazy happened at his house. So he's got a crazy day, and he can't come and do the podcast. So I'm going to have to do a last-minute podcast here. And as you know, I always am down for a last-minute podcast. I'm just kidding. It is the tail end of the 4th of July weekend. Why I say that is, of course, that Monday most people had off. I know I did. And so I just thought, hey, why don't we go ahead and just wrap up and just say what I did for the weekend. I don't know if anyone knows this, but 4th of July is my least favorite holiday. I think in my entire life, I have one good memory of 4th of July. That's it. Does that mean we didn't do anything for 4th of July? No, we always do stuff for 4th of July. We always go outside in the burning heat of the day, sweat all day. We always stay at night where you get, sucked to death by mosquitoes everywhere, and where it's still friggin' hot at night. And even though they tell you the fireworks are going to start at 9, it's really 10:30 when they start them, and they're not very good. And so you sit out there and got ate up with mosquitoes for nothing. I think the only time I ever had fun was way, way back in the day. Someone threw, and I did think it was a pretty fun 4th of July party. I've been to them before. They've never been that fun. This one was actually really fun. And so that's the one good. And I remember telling people, I said, wow, I've never enjoyed 4th of July. I said, if I did this more often, I said, this would probably make it one of my favorite holidays. Never happened again, so I don't really like this holiday at all. But what did I get done over the holiday? Well, not much. Played a bunch of board games, which is really what I wanted to do. Got a whole lot played. My nephews, my brother and his family, there's some people that play, his kids play games with me. They're gone for a whole month now. They went to travel, visit family. So I'm kind of on my own now. I got some board game nights coming up, which I will enjoy. But, other than that, though, got a lot of games played, which was a lot of fun. Going to make for a fun summer or fun month of board games as board games go. Been doing some reading, finished all my books now, and I will eventually start back through Star Wars. Now, I did think, is this month the month to do it? This year is definitely going to be the year I go back, and I think this time I'm going to read it in chronological order like I reviewed it. But overall, though, I can't wait. I am going to go back through my videos, read it like that, short stories and all. Try to read everything in chronological order and see how that works. Comic books and everything. It's going to be a little bit of pain trying to pull everything out again. But I think that's something I want to do and get to reading back Star Wars again. I'm kind of all caught up on my reading. I do have a few other things coming out in the September-October area. And I'm kind of thinking if I don't start soon, I'll have to start later because there is like 2 or 3 books, I think, coming out. And but I eventually will be reading through all my Star Wars books once again. It's going to be fun. Going to do a deeper read this time. Also, what else happened for 4th of July? Nothing much. Went out to eat, did stuff here and there. I think it's pizza again tonight. We've had pizza just about every day. Pizza's an easy option when you have kids because it's cheap. You can get a lot of it for cheap. That's why pizza will always be the number one thing because, for $20, you can feed a whole family. You got to go for $50-$60 for a family of 4 if you want to go out to eat. Even McDonald's now, a family of 4 and whatnot. I think it was like 38 something. You're like, what? Wait, what? Who ordered what? So cheap ain't cheap no more. But anyway, no, I was one of the other things I wanted to ramble on about. This is, I guess, it's just a ramble on thing. Is we have horrible drivers here. I know some of you know where I'm talking about, but where I live is a smaller town, and we just happen to have the worst drivers in the world. For instance, I took my little girls out on a drive. 7 minutes in, they were out. And I remember thinking, 7 minutes, oh man, that's all it took. Okay, so I turned around to go back home. And 30 minutes later, I got back home. Was there traffic? Was there a wreck? No. Just idiots. People slowing down at a green light, and I don't know why. I think speed limit was 35, 40. I think the highest I went going back was 25. And there wasn't any traffic. It wasn't backed up. It was just people just not wanting to drive fast that day. I mean, why hit the gas pedal? It's a holiday, I guess. It was weird. I'd be behind one car. Then there'd be two cars, one on each road, just traveling 20 miles an hour. 20. And you're like, what is going on? Are there, and I was thinking, I was like, are there cops out today? Is that why everyone's driving super? No. Just everyone's brain dead, I guess. But it took forever. People sitting at green lights. Just sitting at green lights. I'm like, what are they doing? Oh, they're wanting to turn. But there is no oncoming traffic. So you're just sitting at a green light, just looking both ways? Trying to wake up? I don't understand. But it was insane. The traffic was not bad. It wasn't packed. But it was just insane to the people who were driving. I didn't have anyone going one way down. Like I said, that's why it only took me 7 minutes. But seriously, I looked at the clock. It was 28 minutes. So it took me 4 times the amount. And all I did was turn around on the road. I didn't do a U-turn. I turned off the road and then turned back around. But I remember thinking, holy cow. I said that whole trip took me 35 minutes. And it was 7 going down. So 28 going back for some reason. So almost a full 30 minutes there. Insane. I wasn't even that far away from my house. Probably 2 miles. I don't know. But anyway, I have to digress on that. Not the best when it comes to being behind the car. With the road rage. People drive like idiots. They'll pull out anticipating you to drive past them. So if you're going to drive past them, they can go out and pull out into the road, right? Why would they do that? I've had 3 people do that to me this week. I'm in the other lane, so they figure, I can just start moving into the lane that he's not moving down first. Well, then I have to slow down. I'm like, what are you doing? It's weird. It's weird. All the drive. What was another one? So I'm turning, right on red. And this car across the street, coming the opposite direction, he decides to turn. But I was turning, so he's about to turn into me. And I'm like honking my horn. He stops and goes, I didn't see you right in front of me? I don't know. Weird stuff. We got weird drivers here. One of the things I noticed, 4th of July weekend used to be the weekend. If you remember back in the day, if you're old like me, back in the day, there were 2 things that were definitely going to happen on 4th of July. And this happened to me too. The mall was going to be packed, right? 4th of July sales, everyone just going out, just having fun, spend some money or whatnot. Wearing red, white, and blue, and the mall would be packed. Malls are dying, folks. Malls are basically dead. If you have a busy mall, I'd love to hear about it. What does it look like? Because malls have lost popularity. They are a thing of the past. They're just relics of the past, just sitting around waiting to die now. We went to our mall this weekend, and there was nobody there. There were idiots wearing red, white, and blue, outfits, which was fine. But I was like, there is no one here. There is not crowded. And they have limited seating in the food court. They took away 75% of the seats in the food court because of COVID is what they said, but really because they like making people being inconvenient. And the mall's like, we don't like all these empty tables anyway. Let's just take them all away and never bring them back. So they've never brought them back. So it's 25% seating, and even there were some extra seats on a weekend. They weren't full. And this was during the peak. It was in the evening, so to speak. It wasn't 4th of July. It was the 3rd of July. So, was it the 2nd of July? So it wasn't like everyone had to go do fireworks that evening. No one was there. Just no one was there because no one cares about malls anymore. No one goes there anymore. We hadn't been. It'd been over a year. Now, I went a few weeks earlier with my wife, but before then, it'd been over a year since I last visited the mall. And I'll be honest, I could go forever and never. If I never had to visit the mall again, I'd be fine in my life. I would be fine. There's nothing that I need at the mall. There's nothing that, I want to go see. I'm like, oh, I need to go by the mall and check this out. No, I've never, I can't remember the last time I've said that. Probably when I was in college was the last time I said that. I've never really needed our mall. Now, any mall, to be specific, though, too. I've never even said I want to go to this mall. High school, college, that's where you went to hang out with people. Something mainly high school. But the thing is, though, other than that, malls aren't cool anymore. And it's obvious now because, boom, there's no one hanging out at the mall. There also the other thing that I've noticed here with me. Now, movies, I guess, are coming back. People are talking about how box offices are roaring back, post-COVID. I went to tons of movies in 2020, and I've already done a podcast on this. I think it was on Saturday Morning Sam Flange, where I told you I absolutely loved the 2020 movie season. It was honestly one of the best seasons or years for movies, or movie theaters, I should say, in my life. Because that's when they brought back, there wasn't any new movies coming out, so they just brought out old movies again. And you get to see old movies in theaters for cheap, like $5. And that was worth it to me, to see some of the classics that I got to see. Now, I heard a long time ago, because when I asked them, I said, hey, y'all should do this all the time. They said, oh yeah, we plan on keeping this around. No, they don't. No, they don't. They can't pass up that movie studio money. They got to promote those new films. So when the new films are coming out, they got rid of the old ones immediately. I remember, at least at the Cinemark here, it had a list of shows you could see, but then when they were like, oh, we're opening up full time, okay, then they changed it, and there's no older movies coming out, and it's all new stuff, which I don't want to see. I mean, every once in a while there'll be something. Maybe. I don't want to talk about movies too much here because I know that's one of the topics that Bruce and I were going to discuss was the movies so far for 2021, but I'll be honest, I am completely underwhelmed at the box office. I haven't been that much. I don't plan on going that much. Plus, here's the thing, post-COVID, I don't pay attention to movie releases anymore. I don't know when anything's coming out. There's nothing to look forward to because I don't know when anything's coming out. I don't know a definitive schedule. I mean, last I checked, which give it was for, early this year, was everything had a TBD on it. So you never really know when something's going to come out or not. And I know that all these great movies are supposed to come out that got delayed that will come out later, but to me, I don't want to see them. I don't want to see any of them, or I don't want to see them bad enough to go to the movie theater, I should say. For instance, I know this weekend the Forever Purge came out. I'll watch that. I actually enjoy the Purge movies. I don't know if anyone knows that. It's weird because it's like a forgotten series. They've made several of these, and I've watched each and every one. I think they're fun. The first one is obviously the best. They haven't beaten that, but the new one, the Forever Purge, yeah, I'll watch it. I don't care. I think those are fun. It's a little bit better, in my opinion, than Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is popcorn. You just love to watch it. Purge, I can watch them once. I could probably watch the first one again. And maybe eventually I'd watch all the Purge movies again. That's the difference between that and Fast and Furious. I would never watch all the Fast and Furious again. I've seen them once, laughed, moved on. How many do I remember? I don't know. They all run together for me. Purge movies, they kind of run together a little bit after the first one, but I remember just enjoying each one. And so this one, yeah, I'll watch it. Do I want to go see it in theaters? No, I never saw any of them in theaters, so I just wait till they come out on video or streaming or whatnot, and I watch it that way. Now, I don't know how many people are like that, with me, like you're just done with movie theaters. I'm not done with movie theaters. It's just that I don't know what's coming out now, and I don't even bother checking anymore is the thing, too. So I don't know what's coming out. I'm not really that interested. I'm kind of disconnected going to the movie theater anyway. I had such a great time last year. It's almost like there was no one around. They were playing all the old classics, and it will 2021 or 2022 will never be as good a movie year as 2020. In fact, out of all the garbage that 2020 turned out to be in the movie theater, for me at least, because our movie theater never closed, for our movie theater, the best season for movies I think I'll ever have. I think I just saw the best season for movies was 2020. And of course, yes, Matt, that is just watching old classics. I get it. But for me, that's where it was. It wasn't the newest, greatest. If someone asked me, I've gotten this question before, what's the best year for movies, you think? What was the best year for movies? Okay, if I went year by year, it'd probably be sometime in the 90s for me, because That was when you started having the nice, it wasn't overcrowded, but you had big blockbusters here and there. And I'm sure there's some year in the 90s that I just really love because there was just tons of great movies that came out that I saw. It could be in the mid 2000s too, because of course then I was watching tons of movies as well. Ever since then, my wife will go to the movies when my wife wants to go. But nowadays, everything comes out streaming really fast or same day of. I kind of like that. I know people, Hollywood wants you back in theaters, movie theaters want you back in theaters, but the world changed. So, I don't want theaters to die off, but, and it doesn't look like they are. It looks like people are ready to get back to watching movies in theaters. Yay, hooray for you. But for me, after seeing all the classics come out in 2020, you're like, nothing else excites me. Plus, I don't even bother looking up what's coming out. So, but Forever Purge, I'll eventually watch when it comes out streaming or video rental. That's another thing, DVDs. I think they've gone the way of the buffalo now, folks. I mean, I do a lot of streaming now, and I think a lot of people do. Now, DVDs are still relevant to a point where there are some things that you cannot stream. You can, like when I watched Babylon 5, I could not find Crusade streaming anywhere. It was a spinoff. So I had to buy it for like $12. It was a good deal. But the rest of my DVDs, I mean, there used to be, I think our Books A Million used to have I need to check and see if they still have this, but they had a place where you could just come in, throw your books, CDs, DVDs, whatnot, and they give you a price. Either they buy it from you or you trade. I would always trade because they'll give you a little bit more money in trade. Plus, I may find something. Now, I don't know what I'd find at Books A Million, but my wife could find something. But I am all for taking all of my DVDs, all of them, and just handing them in. Anything that's streaming right now needs to go. Because it'll be streaming forever, in my opinion. So, I'm ready to just turn in and see all the behind the scenes, the deleted footage and stuff like that on DVDs. Not enough for me to keep most of my DVDs. I won't sell all of them, but I'm fairly certain I could cut it down to 50%. I'm fairly certain I could do that. So having 50% less DVDs, and I'm not buying any. I think the last DVD I might have gotten was Baby Driver back in 2017. I don't know. I know 2020, 2019, I didn't buy any. 2018 is the only year I can't remember if I bought anything on DVD. Well, no, that's a lie. I just told you I bought Crusade on DVD, so never mind, Crusade would be it, and that was last year. Besides Crusade, though, I think it was Baby Driver, something from my collection. My DVD collection is very limited. It was limited to one shelf, kind of bleeding into another shelf. My wife had a shelf that we kind of shared. But those DVDs, those are movies that I will always watch anytime, anywhere. If someone says, "Hey, you want to watch this?" Absolutely, I do. I love that movie. So I have a very limited, well, I'd say limited, shelf of DVDs. But now that everything's streaming, I know I could cut that in half, one of those shelves in half, and have all my stuff fitting on one shelf with some room to spare, which is what I was hurting on back a few years ago because I've had to move them. Like I said, invade some of my wife's space or kind of, stack DVDs, oddly on top of each other, so they could all fit in one space. But I know I could easily cut that down over time now. And I think I would. So I'd move that to, maybe even do three quarters of the space there, because I think most of the stuff I have is streaming now. There's a few things that aren't streaming. Definitely I'll keep those DVDs, but I'll just look at all the streaming services, all of them. And if it's playing on one of those streaming services, eventually the other ones are going to get it, right? Or there's some way to get it cheap. So I'm going to get rid of them all, I think, because I think now's the time to do it while they're still, I would say, relevant. Are DVDs relevant? That's another thing you need to let me know in the comments. Are those relevant? Are malls relevant, and are DVDs still relevant? I know CDs aren't anymore. I stopped buying CDs a long time ago. I bought the Weezer Teal track. That's the last thing I bought. And I thought, what was the point? Because it popped on my Amazon Music account. I have Amazon Music. They have just about everything I need except for the deluxe edition of Hurley from Weezer. They had it. They took it out. I don't know why. But it has one of my favorite songs on it too. The deluxe edition does. So those CDs I still have, but the jewel cases I threw away. I got rid of all the jewel cases, And the CDs I still have, but I can't tell you when the last time. Oh, I know what it is. There's one CD I always listen to because you can't get it streaming. It's the soundtrack to Last Starfighter. So I'll still listen to soundtracks from DVDs. But my big DVD case, ever since my girls have been born, they moved into my car this past year. I've not had my CD case with me, and I don't really look through it that much either. I used to always, I don't know if you used to have the big, this is back 2000s, I guess I'm dating myself here, but you had that big CD case, and you were so cool because you could pop in any CD in the car, or if you brought it to at parties, you're like, hold on, I got a CD, You don't want to listen to this radio. I got a CD now. No, everything's streaming now. So they can pull up any song they want anytime. You don't need a big CD case to do that. And to be honest, maybe start throwing away my CDs. I know I could clear out my CDs to, oh gosh, maybe 90%, 70%. 70 to 90% about what I have, because everything's streaming now. Everything's streaming. There's very few CDs I have, mainly soundtracks, and even some of those are streaming too. I'd get rid of most of my stuff there. That's maybe something else I should do too. Those are still hanging out in the trunk of my car. I don't know how they're doing in that heat all the time. I was never a CD fan. I love tapes. Tapes are great. Tapes rarely messed up. They took a lot of play. CD, one scratch, it's done. Oh, you buy that scratch off stuff? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can use a toothpaste and do just as good a job, if not better. Because I bought all that stuff just to try to clean my CDs. But some skip. Oh, and that's another thing. If ever I'm listening to one, I see it's stuttering or skipping or having trouble, whatever it is, I'll throw it away. I'll just break it and throw it away. Because it's just not worth it. It's not worth keeping anymore. So any CD I do pop in that, it's not on streaming, I guess. I don't know. I can't remember which one it was, but a couple years ago, listening to something with the girls, it was freezing and everything. I was like, oh, man. So I just took it out of my CD player and chunked it in the trash, my little trash bag in my car. But CDs are another thing that's kind of going the way of the buffalo as well. No one listens to them anymore, so may as well get. This is something. So CDs, hold on, CD, DVDs, and malls. There you go. 3 irrelevant things, or quickly becoming irrelevant things that are in our society today. Watch it now before it goes extinct. All right. I don't know if I can think of a third one right now. I'm sure if I keep talking, I will. I don't know though, but. Yeah, that's probably the last of the purges I want to do from most of my stuff. I threw away all my telephones a long time ago because those are dumb. Alarm clocks. People still keep their old alarm clocks because you used to need an alarm clock back before phones had alarm clocks on them. So you had your alarm clocks. I threw all of them away except for one. It was a travel alarm clock I kept with me on all my trips. I hated it and loved it. It had a big, loud, ringing bell. By the way, it's wind up, so it doesn't need a battery. That's another reason I kept it. It's wind up because it was made to last, and it's got a nice little ticking sound. But when it rings, man, when that bell rings, ooh, you got to get up. You got to get up. Ain't no hitting snooze. So I loved and hated that one. There's a little travel one. It'd fold up into like a little hard case, easy to take out, easy to put down. But just so many memories of just wherever I went, having that with me to wake me up, when I travel or something for work or wherever I was going or what I was doing. And that one, because of its pocket size and because it didn't take batteries, I kept that one. Everything else, gone. What else did I throw? Old cables. We used to keep our old. I remember when my wife and I were married, we had like 3 big tube televisions, and they all worked. But we weren't using them. We had a flat screen, we had close to a flat screen when we got married. I was like, all right, no, I had a flat screen when we got married. But those little tube screens, I gave one to my nephews, and it had a VHS player in it. They played it till the thing went dead. My brother threw it away, and I brought another one over. I said, here you go, I got another one. He was like, oh man. So I had another one with a built-in VCR or something, whatever. So I gave that them, and then that one eventually died too. He threw it away, and I had one more, and I think we gave it away to way back in the day. My wife was leaving. It was a little middle school, and they had those little TVs around. They played VHSs or DVDs through them still. I said, give them ours. She went, oh, no, We may need it. I said, no. Because by then we'd already had a Black Friday little flat screen, and I'd bought a new flat screen. It's like, nope, we're never going to need these. Get rid of them. And now, no one wants those, right? No one wants those. You can get an easy little flat screen for cheap. No one wants the big, heavy TVs anymore, so I got rid of those just in time. And so there's a lot of stuff like that I made sure to get rid of. And I think DVDs are something, and I probably should have done this last year, now that I'm thinking about it. I should do now before DVDs, I think, become virtually irrelevant, just a waste of time. And like I said, if I can cut down my DVD collection into just the ones that you can't get on streaming, I'll be fine with that. And that's really all I'm going to be interested in getting later on, but I don't really get many DVDs anymore. Don't get CDs anymore now. I'm part of, look what the digital world has done to us, folks. I don't know. I never played video games that much. So I did have one of my viewers on YouTube tell me a long time ago, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen. He's like, hey, I'll give you my old Xbox One so you can play Arkham Knight. That'd be awesome. And I thanked him for it. I did not think at all he was going to do it. He was just, tied up in the moment, just saying, I'll get you that, dude. Well, getting around to shipping something is going to take a while. And to be honest, if you brought it by, I'd play it. I would, because I want to play Arkham Knight. But I don't want to play it that bad, obviously, or else I would have bought it secondhand, because I'm sure you can get it cheap now. Video games and old consoles sometimes will lose their value a lot. So get those and just play them. I haven't played all my modded Nintendo and everything that plays all these Nintendo games. All that's in a closet somewhere. I rummaged through it earlier this year, and I thought, oh, I should take this out. No, I don't really care about playing it right now. So that's not just video games, not my life anymore. That's one thing I think a lot of people got shocked about, is that I don't play video games anymore. Everyone's like, have you played this game? Oh, I think you'd love this game if you played it. Guys, I'm just out of the hobby. I love board games now. I love board games. And even then, I'm trying to get picky about what I get, because my collection has now reached the top shelf. I filled up my Kalak shelf I bought before the girls were born. A week before the girls were born, I bought one. I filled it up maybe like 2 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves. And now, 2 years later, it is packed to the gills. I have things on top of both of all of my shelves now. There is a little itty bitty opening, but that's for one little set of games. I'm looking around here, and I don't even think that Marvel United could get off the floor. So yeah, I've already started stacking. I have 2 stacks of games now permanently on my floor. These other 2 are temporary stacks that can go back up on the shelf, because they have a little itty bitty space left. So I'm running out of room. So now I got to get very particular when it comes to what games I'm getting and any space I can conserve. I know this past weekend when we were playing some games, I conserved some mini box space, which I was proud of, like little expansions. I said, oh wait, I can combine this with or kind of toughed it, because some of my boxes were kind of bursting over, and so I got rid of them. I just put some of that extra stuff in the other expansion boxes. I don't throw that away. That's all what used to be my old board game closet is now my old closet of empty expansion boxes. That's where I keep my empty expansion boxes, and it's filled up that closet now that used to house my board game collection. One of my buddies laughed about that. He said, remember when this is where you kept your board games? You used to keep them in that little hallway closet. Boy, those were the days. Get a hold of anything back then. But now, like I said, I try to be particular on what games I add to the collection, and get rid of some games too to friends, and any friends I have a buddy of mine who's moving away, and I'll probably give him some games too before he leaves. Clear out the shelves a little bit. I try to, every Christmas, my game group who plays the most games with me, I'll give them one game that I like but they love, but I know I'm not going to play that much, and then I'll give them a few other games I think they will like as well that just aren't getting played for me. Of course, some of my favorite games I'm keeping from them, even though they really love them. But some of the other ones I don't play as much. If they're going to play it more and they don't have as big a collection, I'm happy to give the games to them. Happy to give it to someone who cares. Like one of my old gaming group buddies, if I was to see him again, I'd probably give him Twilight Imperium, 3rd edition, with all the expansions too. It's a game we played a billion times. He absolutely loved it. I still love that game. However, I think it may be 4th edition from here on out. I'd never turn down a game of 3rd edition, But for me and for the group now, I think they're basically hooked on 4th edition now. So just certain things like that I couldn't part with. But other ones, there's a few things here and there that I'll definitely part with over time. That'll free up a little bit space, but definitely got to work out the spacing issue here. I mean, I've got like maybe, well, I could turn that into this whole room. Where I did Matt's Expanded Universe, you could see over the years how it changed. It got more and more crowded. As I just put in more shelves, and now my podcast table's in here, something I used to take down on a basis, but now I got all this equipment on it, so now I don't take it down at all. And then, of course, when the pandemic started, I had tons of room in here, at least it felt that way, until I opened up my own desk here over the pandemic. And that table, that desk, is still here today in the same spot. My wife now has it, because now she's permanently working from home. And so it's even added less space to this room. This space, it's really weird, because if you clear it all out, it'd look humongous. But anyway, all right, there it is. I rambled for a little while. I got to get. Hey, folks, Bruce is coming next time. We will do a podcast, and you're going to love it. Next time on Princes of the Universe.